Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope you're good. So I'm going to start with USD, GBP USD. Sorry about that. As you can see, just straight away, you can see it was bearish as price was pushing to the downside. I'm just going to do something that I always do if you've watched my analysis, just to mark my recent high lows and high and lower highs. And that right there is a recent 4H lower high before it was broken. Just right now, you're going to see me just trying to show you what I mean by that price has changed, because now we use something called a breaker structure. If price is broken the recent structure, either lower high or higher low, then that constitute as a change of trend. Then from there, I'm going to add my support and resistance where I believe price might react to, either just to continue to the upside or continue to the downside. And on this one, we anticipate that price is going to continue to the upside. And I have my zones that I call them possible reaction zones, because as soon as price gets there, it's often reacts, and they're called possible reaction zones, because if it doesn't, then it just doesn't go anywhere. And on 1H, I'm going to be marking my 1H high low to just also show you that price is still bullish on 1H. And if price decides to break below, then I would understand that we are bearish. And now moving to your USD, I will just be looking at the current structure. And on daily, we have been bearish, but problem starts when you have to now drop and cease. There's a change of structure on a 4H, so which now makes you have to adjust very quickly. And as you can see, just like GBP USD, with our 4H lower high and 4H lower low, and price recently broken above our 4H lower high. And I'm just going to remove that 4H lower low there. I'm just going to keep it there at this point, but then that is our recent high. That shows that price broke above the current structure to create a new high, and from there I'll be anticipating that price is going to continue to the upside. But let us check what else might be used. There is a support level there that might hold the price, but depending on how price reacts when it gets there. But for now, just like we did on GBP USD, we're going to mark our possible reaction zones where price might just react, or that we could also call them our take profits. I'm also going to show you, just going to fix that 1H level just to accommodate it with the wicks for 1H. Now let's move forward to GBP CAD. With GBP CAD, it's nice and simple. You can see that daily is bullish, but because now we've seen a recent bearish momentum, we have to also understand that we have to wait for 4H to finish its move, which now currently is to the downside. So we might end up coming back up there just to either reject that current zone, or we might also have to consider the fact that there is another support just right here. Either price might just react to it before it can continue to the downside, or price might do something different. It breaks above and continue to the upside following the daily trend. So now it's a little bit of a waiting game that we have to apply, which is patience. Now move to GBP JPY, and as you can see with GBP JPY, we have to start on weekly because daily and 4-hour don't have any recent structure on them. You will see when you drop down. I'm just going to be marking these possible reaction zones on weekly, and I know they're a little bit absurd because now they're very, very far from each other, and I know it's more than 200 pips between. So now just going to go to daily, and on daily you're going to see that there is a recent structure, broken structure that can most probably come back for price to come back and retest it, but that might happen after we have reached our reaction zone. I'm going to drop down to 4H, and you're going to see that we have recently broken above the recent high and created a new high low. From there we also created a new we broke above our recent resistance and also rejected it. So there's a huge possibility that you're going to see continued buys or continued bullish movement. Then with gold, we have been bullish for quite some time up until we changed structure. And NFP showed us that gold was it's going to continue to be in a bearish momentum. And we had a daily double top, and price pushed heavily to the downside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start on daily, just see what is it that we can get before we can drop down to 4H. So these two are possible reaction zones that where price might get to and start showing weaknesses, right? So now let us drop down to 4H. Before we drop into 4H, you can see that there is also a level there that might hold the price. But let's drop to 4H, and you can see that the very same level on 4H on daily that we have is there on 4H, and price once turned before when it got to it. So yeah, so now we have another recent structure, break of structure, that we also consider that price might come back to react to it and drop to the downside. Then I might also go down to 1H, and you're going to see me just fixing a bit of support and resistance level there. That makes more sense to me. That price might just push back a little bit further before it can continue to drop. And with Bitcoin, since I really don't trade Bitcoin, I'm going to try by all means to analyze as I can. But for now, as you can see, and if you have been following Bitcoin, you would know that Bitcoin has been in a continued bullish movement. But for now, it looks like we're just pulling back. And I'm just going to clear everything out there. And you can see what I'm going to mark there is my support. But that support itself is very close to my daily higher low, which has never been broken. Or there was a little bit of a fake out there, which price came back up to it, right? And that I consider as a fake out. And that's why I consider that price might continue to the upside. But let us drop down to 4H and see why is it that I'm saying price might consider to the upside. So you're going to see that price has been bearish. But first, let me remove this. And for now, let me just consider plotting support level there. And since price has been bearish and hasn't changed direction, because that was a recent lower high up there, and you will see me marking it. But now I want to show you how and why am I saying price has been bearish. We created continued lows and lower lows. We never broke the recent lower low, and also never broke above the recent lower high. And that up there is the recent lower high, and which also was rejected some time ago. And I believe that we also have a bit of a resistance level in between that might hold off the price maybe to continue to the downside, or that price might break above and break also above the 4H lower high and continue to the upside. Then with NZD-JPY, it's very simple. As you can see, that price is bullish and has been bullish for quite some time, rejected our previous daily higher lows, but now has rejected our daily higher low, like the recent one, and created a double bottom. I'm going to mark them just for clear visibility, and also mark my daily higher high along just for clear visibility, as I said. I wanted just to check if they will be showing on a 4H, because they also tell a story. On 4H, you can see that we have been a bit bearish to the downside. We have been showing a little bit of some weakness to the downside, but for now we have a level up there which is a 4H lower high, but I'd rather just have it as a resistance and see if price can break to the upside. And also we do have what I consider as a 1H higher low, a 1H not higher low, a 1H support level whereby price broke above. And you will see on 1H as it does make sense. And price has currently or is currently trading just below the recent 1H resistance, and if price can break to the upside, I'll be looking for continued buys to the upside. But for now, we just also wait. You can see it's a very clean setup with a high probability or a high risk reward from it. I think it's 1:4. I'm not so sure. Then everything that is XXX CAD has been dropping crazily last week. As you can see that on daily, Euro CAD has been bearish and just having possible reaction zones there. Just trying to see how far are we to those reaction zones, and if we are very far, we could continue to the downside. But as soon as we get closer, you will start seeing momentum stopping a little bit, and that is a recent broken zone that I somehow think that price might come back to before it might continue to drop to the downside. But as we say, nothing drops for a very long time, so we might see that and continued drops. And for now, that's all I'm currently looking at. And on 1H, you can see that we do also have a bit of a level just below here, and that maybe might hold off the price. We have to consider both levels before we go anywhere. And that's it. Thank you, guys.